Well, the name of our comic strip's Happy Hour. Right.
I host the open mic at the Stress Factory, and he came down and, we started hanging out. We had, started kicking around ideas, and we started coming up with other comic stuff, like comic books, and then eventually it just came down to Happy Hour.
Happy Hour is me and Tommy's brainchild, or comic strip, based basically on our lives, going out and, the funny situations or the funny bar patrons we find ourselves encountering.
Everybody goes out and tries to have a good time, and they run into, funny things that happen. They can never remember it, stuff like that. And it's about that goal, just trying to have the best time you can possibly have.
My name's Jim Cole. I am the artist of Happy Hour. I really love drawing more than anything in the world. Like, when I'm out at the bar, I'm drawing. At work, I'm drawing. I'm surprised I'm not drawing right now. And I've always really been into like superheroes, and I've created like tons of like superheroes and universes, and I like drawing like horror movie comics, and just like that's pretty much mainly what I drew. And then I started doing comedy, and then it was funnier to draw comics that were funny, you know what I mean? The character Jim Beam, he's a funny guy. He's very imaginative. He may be in a bar setting, but you can really tell he's always in his own world. He starts to like see imaginary characters, we have this one strip where he's sitting there and there's a penguin standing next to him, and he's like, he's talking to the penguin, and he's like, hey, how was the wedding? And the penguin's like, I got cold feet, just funny things like that,
My name is Tommy Brennan. I am the colorist of the comic strip Happy Hour. I've been coloring since, since I was little. The story you always hear is, when you were 5, you always used to color and color and color, and now you're selling $1 million paintings, and that's what happens. The character based on me, Tommy Collins, he's living out what I wish to be. He's definitely a ladies' man. He says what's on his mind. Him and Jim together, that's the combo. There's always been comedy duos, and that's what it comes down to, is that, they play off of each other so well that that's who the characters come to take on. Sometimes I'll be the straight man in a book, in the strip, or I'll be the funny man, or I'll have the punchline, and it bounces back and forth on whatever's going on.
When we start to work on a script for Happy Hour, and we do several a week, first we'll come up with an idea, something funny. Sometimes Tommy will write a script, sometimes I'll write a script, sometimes we'll write a script together.
The first step is usually the funniest step, because the first step never works. It just never does, because something funny will pop in your head, and we'll throw it around, and it's that brainstorming that's where the funny comes from, because you're always constantly trying to outdo each other on the joke, and when you get the biggest laugh, that's usually the one you go for.
And then once we get a punchline, we'll think of where the characters should be sitting.
What do we look like in the strip? How are the characters going to look? How are they going to be reacting to each other? Is anything going on in the background that will make that joke even funnier?
When I first start drawing, I have my blank sheet of paper there, and usually I'll take a pencil, and I'll do a couple quick circles of where I want the characters to be. And then from there, I'll put a few lines just to show like where certain, like where the nose would be, where the eyes will be. I never really fully draw it with the pencil. And then what I'll do is I'll go in with the pen and ink over it, and that's when the characters come to life.
Well, now that Jim's done drawing it, goes to me, and I scan it into the computer, and that's where the magic happens. We darken the contrast. We bring the contrast really dark. It saves any time of me having to go back over Jim's lines in a darker color. And what I'll do is I'll pull up the bar foreground. We then copy it to bring onto our main page like so. We're going to get rid of all that extra white around the characters. Then you just take out the little imperfections of where, things didn't quite fit. I'm using an old strip as my palette instead of just, guessworking the colors. So now we have a character that's never been colored before, so we have to make up the colors as we go along. This actually marks the first time that an animal is actually used in a happy hour strip. So you guys are seeing history in the making. We don't want to lose the bow tie, because that's what really sells the joke. So we're going to give him like a really dark gray bow tie. Right now we're going to go back and we're going to do our background. We select the plain white background, and that selects everything around our characters that's going to need to be colored in. We go to the filter menu. We go down to render and lighting effects. We're in a bar setting, so there's always lights coming down from up top, so we try to do that. We pick 5 lights down, and now you have 5 different areas of light that you get to work with. When you set your lights here in the lighting effects menu, you hit OK, and that will throw it right in there. Now comes time for the dialogue. Now that our dialogue's in, now it's time for the little things. Jim and I always have stuff that our shirts say. Mine is always a variation of no lime or lime bad. Jim's shirt usually says something about what's going on in the strip. I have conferred with Jim, and he would like his shirt to say the Iceberg Lounge. And that is how we color the comic strip.
I think people should check out Happy Hour just because it's different. I think comics are going in a different direction. I think, TV has gone in a different direction. I think even movies, are getting a little bit darker, and things are more realistic now. Literature is different than it used to be, and I think comics also as a medium are going in a different direction. And Happy Hour, represents one of those directions. It's something that people can relate to, now. I don't know anybody who has a talking cat and dog. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that, but people can relate to 2 guys sitting at a bar and some funny quip that might come out.
If we can make it giggle, or we can make it chuckle inside, that's fine, because we're not going to get the giant laugh out loud. I mean, we hope for that, but it'd be kind of weird if people were just reading a paper next to you on like the train and they just started cracking up. So a little chuckle is all we're really asking for.